It is episode 1 of season 2025. Yes, the Sunday Footy Show. A very good morning to Damo is here. He's got a lot to say about opening round and the fixture that is. We welcome that man, Rory Sloane, to our little family. Llordo has brought a big name guest for his deep dive. You're on notice too, by the way.
What are you doing?
Media Ocha is back with a vengeance. He's a very vengeful little man. As I said, episode 1, season 2025. We're about to make a statement. The Hawks made a big statement already. We're back. Yes, it is once again a very good morning to wherever you might be watching our program. It's great to be back with a little bit of a different look, as we'll find out in just a tick. But Damo's here. G'day, mate.
Hey, Teach. I'm really excited about the year and excited about this show, but I just have had some energy sapped out of me because I've only got the one game to talk about, and a member on this panel has also gone to management and banned us from talking about another particular topic. So I'm just not sure how we're going to get through. I know we'll give it a good go for 2 hours, but that's where we're at.
All right, Llordo's also here.
Thanks, TJ. Great to be back. But like Damo, I've been muzzled as well. So you've muzzled us a lot over the years. And I just thought we've been banned a lot in the past. And I thought, well, I'm just letting loose early on. So here's what I've been banned on in the past. So here's the first one, Naomi.
So is it slowly sinking in now? I mean, now that you're here, the trophy sitting there, it is a very, very big trophy too, by the way. I'm not too sure how you carried it all that way. It is a very, very big trophy too, by the way. I'm not too sure how you carried it all that way.
And I love this one too, where this was banned.
Nice and sunny for the weekend.
You should come round for a barbie.
No, thanks.
Okay. Okay.
And this last one, you banned this as well. And this bloke genuinely believe you did this on purpose. So here's the Stewie Jew / Stevie J.
Let's go live now to the SCG. We're joined by Sydney assistant Stevie Johnson. Steve, look, finals, it's not Stevie Johnson, it's Stewie Jew. No, it's not. It is Stevie Johnson. Sorry, mate. Sorry, I'm having trouble seeing the monitor.
But great to be back, TJ.
It's disrespectful to the rest of the panel that everybody in Australia wants us to talk about something. We are not allowed to talk about it. And it's disrespectful to our next man over here who joins us for the first time. We haven't even been able to welcome him. Rory Sloane, former Adelaide champion.
Welcome, Rory.
Thank you very much.
How's the welcome been from the boys? Damo would have welcomed you?
Yeah, he welcomed me, yep. Yeah, sent me
Llordo?
a message. Llordo, yep, rang me.
I sent you a message?
Sent me a message from overseas too, yeah.
What about Tone?
No, I actually didn't get one from Tone, but I did catch up with him. We did have a bit of a day at the tennis, so I will excuse him. He was a little busy. He was a little preoccupied that day.
Oh, he's preoccupied.
No, look, it is good to have. You've got a fair bit on your plate, of course, with Classified and also AW.
A little bit.
Yeah, as Damo obviously has radio and Classified. And are you doing Today Show this year, eh?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Yeah, what day are you doing?
Thursday mornings.
Thursdays? Oh. Didn't you used to do that?
Yeah.
Hello.
I didn't know
so
that,
you.
mate. So apologies.
No, I said I couldn't do it. I was busy.
Oh, busy doing what?
Keep going,
You're the
mate.
least work
Keep
panel.
going.
You're the least
Keep-
work person on this panel.
Keep going.
You got the flick from the Today
You've
Show.
had a big summer, haven't you? Just very carefully.
You can't go
Very
there, mate.
carefully.
You are clinging, aren't you? You are
Very
just
carefully.
clinging, aren't
You
you?
can't
You've had a
go
big
there.
You are
summer.
just clinging,
You've
little man.
gone to management and we're not allowed to talk about anything. Oh! Let's just be very careful because one day it's coming.
Rory, you got TJ. You've interrupted me already in my first segment. I've got something. It always pops up in my algorithm, and everyone always said to me, if you're gonna be on this show, you need to be comfortable with grilling TJ. That's just a prerequisite for this show. So, mate, this pops up in my algorithm all the time. This is one we thought we'd touch on before. A little kiss, and yeah, I might have some feedback for you later, mate, on that one. But
Tony, you're funny.
I had to do it, mate. It was there.
Why did you have to do it?
Because it was in my contract. They said when you come on this show, it specifically states here, grill TJ and he'll fire back up at you, so put the boxing gloves on.
You got a contract?
Just.
Tell you what, you are just clinging, aren't you?
Keep
Just
going.
clinging.
Keep
All right,
going.
let's take a look at the round so far, and this shouldn't take long. It all happened on Friday night.
Hawthorn, far too good. They were too good early, and then a great fight back from the Swans in the third quarter, but the Hawks responded well with James Sicily going forward and was the difference.
All right, well, let's take a look at it. This was the scene. in the box afterwards. And I tell you what, a win is a win, but when you do it from the get-go.
Rory, I heard them say that they weren't happy with their pre-season and they were a bit on edge, the players going into this game, and they played like it.
Well, absolutely, what I love the most is like we saw some of their theatrics last year and how they celebrated goals and maybe a little over the top at times, but what I love, it looked like it was just down to business. They looked like they enjoyed themselves, but after every goal it was just like reset, we're coming here to do a job, and they certainly did that. They got there and got the chockies.
What's wrong with celebrating?
No, nothing. There's certainly times you can absolutely do it, and we want to see it in the game because it promotes a game. It makes it really fun for our younger generation coming through. But to me, it just looked like a mature side that went there for one job, and that was to get a win.
But the Hollywood Hawks, that whole persona, Damo, worked to their advantage. I mean, whether it be on-field success or membership drives or whatever, the Hollywood Hawks was beautiful.
Yeah, but I think this year, TJ, they know they've got a premiership that's on the offing. And last year they got themselves through to the second week of finals, lost that game by a kick, and they didn't have their best player, Will Day. It's all serious. They've recruited 2 blokes we'll talk about soon. I can see the sharpening up, to Rory's point, of this whole attitude. There'll be times, don't get me wrong, but I like the maturity of what they showed even within game on round 1 or opening round.
Well, let's head over to the Today Show's former AFL expert, Nathan Brown.
We talk about a lot about Sam Mitchell and the moves that were made the other night by Dean Cox, then Sam Mitchell, but it was in the first quarter, which I loved. They were short down in the forward half of the ground, but they pushed the ruckman forward, Meek, so at all times he was trying to push forward. So here he is. He's on Armadi at the moment. Just watch Armadi. It's in their forward line, just chasing the ball, so he realises there's big danger here. So Armadi, not sure what he's doing coming all the way out here. Here's Meek. But the big thing was 6 of the first 8 goals they kicked were from their starting on ballers. They did not rest them on the bench. So Newcombe goes forward and puts pressure. So he's a big body, smart player, kicks their first goal. Then Will Day, he goes forward. Talking about kicking 3 goals from midfield, every one of his goals was when he was resting forward out of the goal square. So he goes forward. And then up comes Moore. So Moore comes in, and at the moment, Warple is forward. So there's nobody resting on the bench. And then again, Will Day, he's resting forward at this point. Great move by Sam Mitchell. Put pressure on the Sydney defenders. He gets a free kick here, kicks his second goal. 6 of the first 8 goals were kicked by Hawthorn midfielders who are resting forward.
And then you've got the big man department too of this club, which has changed with the recruitment of Josh Battle and Tom Barras and the brilliance of James Sicily, who early in the piece just did what he has been doing most of his career, but then late in the piece you can see the score, you can see the need for the captain to step up, take a mark and then ultimately handball that ball to a goal being kicked. But he's a brilliant footballer. He's done it regularly over time, and it might just be, Llordo, that he might actually somehow be better with having Barras and Battle there rather than, I suppose, one of the narratives over the off-season was how would he fit in?
There's no doubt he'll be better for having Barras and Battle. I was disappointed in the Swans' big men, and that's the worry for them. Have they got a good enough forward line to kick a winning score? And Sicily was amazing in the first half, but this is a position you don't want to be in. Amadi and McCartan, who's joined that forward line, they got there too early, so you don't want to get there that early, otherwise you get pushed under the ball by good players. So that McCartan, he got caught behind in that situation, but this one, just got to be stronger. Joel Amadi, you don't want to be outmarked, particularly when it was a little bit of a wet night, and this is where McCartan got caught again. When you can get someone under the armpit and push them under the footy, you're in a lot of trouble. So wasn't good enough. Logan McDonald and McLean can come back, but I also don't think they're the answer either. So a little bit of a concern.
So you're worried about the McCartan project?
Yeah, I just think he's not a natural forward at all.
You've got to give it time though, Llordo. Like one game, he didn't play well. He didn't play well, but he's played there all summer. How long do you give it? If you're coach of Sydney, Dean Cox, how long do you give it?
6 weeks.
But his pre-season showed plenty of promise.
For one game, but I can see it personally. So any bet in 6 weeks' time, we're talking about McCartan not working.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you make of Sydney, particularly their man-on-man efforts?
Yeah, so a lot's been made of Sydney's pre-season and how they're going to shape up defensively. And if we look at some footage here, we'll see they're obviously going very man-on-man at the moment. And we'll get the footage up. Here we go. So they're very man-on-man, but the risk you run, pause there. The risk you run at the moment, if you're so hard man-on-man, you forget to help each other out. And I reckon Dean Cox touched on it post-match. These are some tweaks they're going to have to make. So we talk about round 1. It is only round 1, but these tweaks will come. Pause again. If your man's irrelevant and out the other side of the ground, those Hawthorn players, I expect those Sydney players to come in and be able to chop that ball off. It's been in the air way too long, for far too long, to not help each other out. So again, round 1, these are the tweaks they'll be looking to make over the coming weeks to sharpen up their defence.
You made mention of the big men, the Sydney big men. Brodie Grundy falls into that category.
Yeah, he was underdone, but his form over a number of years has been a bit of a concern. So he was just destroyed by Lloyd Meek. I thought he fought pretty hard after half-time to at least even it out a little bit. But, yeah, they'd want to have him improve on what he was. Because I feel they're not a big midfield. So even Isaac Heaney during the week spoke and said, I'm not that big. And I thought they were monstered badly.
He got pushed around,
He got pushed around by Day and Warple and Newcombe.
You wonder what the effect of that knee knock that he copped about 2 weeks ago, just leading into this game, had on him in that night. Because you're right, he'd fight back. But Dean Cox, Sydney Swans coach, first game as coach, he's got a fair bit to wade through, including the form of Brodie Grundy.
You know, the ability's a big body. You know, I think Brodie, the way to grind it into it, got better as the game went on. But, you know, we need to make sure that we get, from our senior players, some real consistent performances across 4 quarters to help these younger guys out.
A couple of injury concerns out of the match too, and a serious one potentially to James Warple. The Hawks are yet to diagnose this and release it publicly, but Brodie Grundy, the man we're just talking about there, rolled around the ankle of James Warple. Now they're hopeful it's a 1 to 2 week job. You can see he was taken out of the game with a moon boot on, and I suppose the fear is that it is a syndesmosis. And the other one from a taking out of the game perspective was Taylor Adams, who's had a fair bit of soft tissue, missed the finals campaign or the grand final last year for the Swans, and will be missing again for hamstring reasons.
Can I just ask generally about opening round? I mean, even if Thursday night's match had gone ahead, there still will have only been 2 matches to talk about?
3 to this point with today's GWS goal.
Yeah, what I'm saying, up to the start of this show. Are we still enamoured with opening round?
No, to be honest with you. And now it's had 2 years in the offing. And again, we get Cyclone Alfred being the reason we're only talking about 2 matches in opening round. But I feel it's a pause on the competition now that we've had 2 years to explore it. Now, I like Michael Voss's potential theory. Play a game at least in every state, at least one in every state to get it going. And equally, we could still play 9 in opening round. You can still focus on the non-traditional states when it comes to the launch of the season if you do play all 9.
Didn't work last year, it hasn't worked this year.
Well, hang on, you say that, but every game was sold out.
But you ask the people, you ask the average footy punter out there who wants to watch football, who's from the football states, they don't think it worked. Yeah, it's great for the northern states.
It's a national competition.
But it is a national competition. So, like Michael Voss said, play them all in every state. I don't understand it. It didn't work last year and it hasn't worked this year.
Every game was sold out.
Yeah.
But they still would be sold out, wouldn't they, TJ? If you still got a few games in Melbourne, what would
that's
mean
that
they would be sold
go
out?
to one stadium?
But I think the Dillon administration, Andrew Dillon administration, is flexible enough to actually have a look at this and say to themselves, OK, well, do we look at the Michael Voss option and say, let's make it a celebration in each state? But you've still got to grow the game in the northern states, don't you?
But you can still have those games and still have games down here as well.
They weren't flexible enough to, in my eyes, properly reschedule the Gold Coast Suns Essendon game that was moved out of opening round. Now, we saw what happened with the Brisbane Lions Geelong game. Because both teams have a bye in round 3, that's where that game will be postponed too. But as we have caught up with, they will not play that replacement game until the end or in round 24 when they've already both got matches in that. I feel it's just a by default announcement there's a wildcard game into the competition without the proper debate around that. And I know there's logistical issues and I get it involves other clubs being involved in it, but to think that some game meant to be played in early March is now not being played until late August in a round of footy where they've both already got matches to be played, I think there's a better way and I think it should have been done.
And I think it's time
just to play it long before round 24.
Surely they would have done that, but the other clubs wouldn't move games. Essendon didn't.
They run the comp board.
They didn't want to go into their break.
Yeah, that's fine. They've got a bye. They've both got byes. I mean, that would be the natural spot.
The players and the club said we don't want it in that.
It's not up to the players or the clubs. It's up to the AFL who runs the game.
It must be because they got
their way. Absolutely. Yeah.
But how good will it be if even one of those clubs is on the precipice of the finals? Precipice, like on the edge. So how good would it be if they were like on the edge of, making it through to September? That match becomes a standalone marquee match.
Yeah, I can see that, TJ, but equally they could be both sitting 13th and 14th and it could be a dead rubber as well. Just to throw back that argument at you. And equally, the round was brought in, or the bye was brought in to give everyone the reset and to allow a concussed player from the final round of footy to play in the finals. We're not going to get that scope now if we go down that particular path. And look, they could play the Gold Coast Essendon game at the start of that round before they then play their currently allotted teams. So I get there's configurations around it that might be exciting depending on ladder.
Yeah, exactly. But as you say, it's a toss of the coin. All right, that wraps it up for the footy aspect of this opening segment. So now it is with a great deal of trepidation we venture into the unknown territory that is known, Rory, as what caught my eye.
Yeah.
And Rory, you're going to kick us off.
Well, I am going to kick us off. First in, so first session for me and first in. So, TJ, I'm big on teachable moments, as you'll come to realise.
Teachable.
Teachable, yes. Learn from your mistakes, that kind of thing. Become a better person. I've got one for you here. We got, if we go to the footage, we got Chloe Dalton and Emma Lawrence being sent off really quite nicely from their co-hosts here.
Rory, classy.
TJ,
I
listen
think
up.
I know where you're going.
First up, my segment. First mistake you made is you didn't bring flowers, TJ. And the second mistake is always come from the front, never creep up from behind. I might have to hide myself.
Were there other options to replace Kane, or was this it?
That's good.
They weren't very good.
No, clearly not. Damo.
Yeah, now our man Nathan Brown, TJ, as we know, has got a few side hustles, and one of them I do like. I do tune in each week to watch one of his other employers allow him to go on TV. And historically, he's been the host of this show. The man on his right there, Jay-Z, he moved him on last year, but he's got control of this show. But I tuned in this year, Brownie, only last week, and I noticed that you've been usurped by a very, very big man in Felix Von Hoff, and you're now sitting to the right of him. You are not easy about this. I've made some calls behind the scenes. There's tension blowing over offset. There's tension blowing over on air as well.
It's just crumbling, your little empire,
TJ.
isn't it?
He's throwing to a funny.
You used to host this show, Brownie. You're making it that easy. You speak about goals and you give me the easiest segue. It's almost like you used to host this show, Brownie. You're making it that easy.
Awkward.
Salt and
It's awkward. He's taken over.
Felix got a big offer from a rival betting company, and it was my idea to put him in as the
Was it also your idea to replace you with Matthew?
No,
on
I can't
Today
do the Thursday slot.
Why?
Because we record in it, Sportsbet early.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that okay? Because you're on the precipice of copping one.
What have I walked into here?
All right. Well, we told you it's brutal. Now, Damo, you look. When I'm going to say a fashionista, you do struggle in that area, right? There's no doubt
Got a
about
strong
that.
suit, yeah.
But you don't have to copy everything that Matthew does, okay? So with your AFL program there, access all areas. Mate, what's going on there?
Well, if you want me to answer that, Llordo went rogue. He had a different set of clothes and he just ended up taking the same
Llordo's
look.
fault, is it
Yeah,
there?
it is actually.
Well, there was a number of people on social media that thought it did resemble a movie from years gone by, as in Twins. But if that's not enough, you even went to wardrobe prior to this show this morning and said, no, put me in the same as Matthew. Look at you both this morning.
actually, we had
You're
to.
both wearing your Mate, you need to get your own identity, Damo.
Yeah, fair call.
Very good. Good start.
I never miss the news, TJ. When you do a news cross, people talk about it. And there was one news cross this year where I thought that, it's a little bit windswept, but the advertising dollar is so hard at the moment, particularly for free-to-air TV. You've got to start to think out the box. Where can we advertise? Where can we get more revenue from? Well, we've got a great opportunity here at Channel 9 to use your forehead. It is that big. So you've got KFC, you've got Smile, you've got Paddy's Pies to come in there as well. You've got the Sunday Footy Show. You could almost say when we're going to be on, Tony, because this forehead is bigger than what it was last year, and then Gumbaya, World and Aquila. So opportunities for Channel 9.
You've missed one there. You got Turkey Airlines that might have jumped on for sponsorship, hair plugs and that kind of thing.
Sorry?
Sorry, that's my third strike. Am I out?
Mate, you'd be battling to make it to segment 2 the way you're going.
Now, we all know I love my cricket, and I've played a bit of cricket in the past, and here's a few reminders. Poor shot from that fella, but this one
was a shocking
delivery.
stumps.
And now Nath Brown actually is there's a fifer. You've gone and played a game in Tasmania, so we actually sent a camera crew out there, so $60 a ticket. So I thought, geez, that's going to be a good money spinner for the club. So I'm searching. There he is. There's the one bloke who's come to watch. They come to watch you dive over a ball. Then they bring him on for a bowl.
Construction site.
Bang! Cut shot. For 4. Then the next delivery. Pull shot. Bang! All right, so then Nate got a little bit
Where's that
nervous.
supporter gone? Where's that spectator?
He's gone.
He's
So
gone.
The umpire wide. Umpire. No ball, a wide and 5 byes. So anyway, they thought bring Nath in for a bat. I reckon they've gone easy on you here, Nath. You've danced down, stumped,
Clearly out.
Umpire said we can't do it, not out.
Yeah.
And then they felt sorry for you and they've done a big lollipop so you can at least feel good throughout the day. So I thought, is Nath our worst cricketer on the network? And he's not. It's our man to the right, Rory Sloane. So Rory actually played in a charity game and he bowled to Travis Head. So look at these. He
plays for Australia.
Look at these party pies that Rory is throwing up to Travis Head. So he actually got hit for 6.
That's the world's best. That's almost the world's best batsman.
This is back in what year? 2020.
Yeah.
So this is way back in 2020. Travis Head could not do anything. He was in awful form. So this is the last one of them.
Got him back into form.
Like the rounder.
So here's Travis Head pre-Rory and here's Travis Head post-Rory. So this is his stats pre-Rory. Never made 100, averaged 21 since Rory. He's gone on to become the cricketer that he is.
Got him in form, and that was my whole role that day. We're actually on top, and I thought I'd throw a few up to make the game a bit more interesting. You missed a hole. I caught one on the boundary that day. I was on fire.
Still disappointed.
Good work.
Yeah.
All right, well, OK, we managed to get through that.
No, we've been told. We've been told you got to just drop it, mate.
The whole of Australia wants us to talk about it.
What are you talking about?
No, we've tried to get this to the line.
Guys, come on.
No, we have been told.
Mate, you said it yourself. Drop it, OK? Just let it go.
We are going to drop it right now.
Why did you do that?
Because the ball.
What do you think?
We're going to take a break. You are watching the Sunday Footy Show. I need to have a chat with one of our panellists. We're back right after this. Why'd you do that?
I'm Isaac Heaney. My time in South Australia was spent exploring the amazing Eyre Peninsula. I spent a lot of my time off the field in the ocean, fishing, surfing and exploring. I'm taking every chance I get to be in or on the water. Beach fishing for salmon and fresh cook-ups on the beach was an incredible experience. You can see why Port Lincoln is the seafood capital of Australia. Four-wheel driving, beach fishing for salmon and swimming with sea lions are some of the incredible experiences you can do when planning a trip to South Australia. I love getting to know the locals and was welcomed with amazing hospitality everywhere I went. The Eyre Peninsula is less than an hour flight from Adelaide and is home to amazing native wildlife, rugged coastline and incredible seafood. I can't wait to come back to South Australia to explore more.
Yeah, I think we're all looking forward to gather around again in April. And Rory, Barossa Valley is obviously going to be a real, significant inclusion, and I think everyone will be flocking there. I think Gold Coast, North Melbourne play there.
Yeah, and the whole Barossa Valley, South Australia is full of great community towns, and the Barossa Valley has been pushing for this for the last couple of years. The ground's in magnificent condition. There's so many wineries. Damo loves his wine. Plenty of spots to explore. So come over for a good period, TJ, and we'll get you amongst some of South Australia's best wine.
Yeah, well, you've made me feel welcome in my own town already, Rory, so I can't wait to see what you like when I actually get into your neck of the woods. All right, let's look back on Friday night at the SCG. This was Hawthorn and the Sydney Swans. Disappointing outing for the Swans, but as we mentioned earlier in the piece, a terrific start for the Hawks.
Will Day was unbelievable in the first half. 3 goals, had to sit James Jordan on him after half-time, but the Hawks too good in the end, and one of the really important players for Hawthorn is Conor Nash. He's been good enough to join us this morning. And Conor, congratulations. I heard James Sicily say he wasn't quite happy with the pre-season, but you played with a real edge on Friday night.
Yeah, good day, Lloyd. It was good. It was a good win on Friday night. I suppose you don't really know how you're going until 4 points are on the line. So we were able to bring the pressure and play a pretty tough game on Friday night, and thankfully we came out on top at the end, so it was a good win.
They kicked 5 goals in the third quarter to your 2. What was discussed at three-quarter time? Because it was a brilliant response by the Hawks in the last quarter.
Yeah, we didn't really handle the conditions that well. We didn't adapt to the rain that was coming down, and we just knew we needed to get the ball long. We were going too short at times, and it was just a pretty simple game plan from Mitch. Just get the ball in long, and we've got some pretty special forwards up there, and they'll be able to do the job. So that's what changed really in the last quarter.
Conor, the star of the night was Will Day. He kicked 3 goals, had 16 in the first half, but you as a midfield group were rolling forward, but you missed him in last year's final series, but he certainly started the year with a statement.
Yeah, he's a special player. I think a lot of us at Hawthorn have known that for a while, what he's been what he's capable of, and he was able to show that there Friday night. He's got a bit of everything about him, so he's a special player, and it's brilliant to be able to play with him in the midfield. So I think this year, once he keeps the body right, he's in for a brilliant year. So he's very important player for us.
Conor, the guys were mentioning earlier in the show that the one thing that seemed to be lacking on Friday night were the post-goal celebrations. Has that been a conscious decision to actually just put a lid on those?
Nah, it hasn't at all. The boys are still practicing them here and there, but it wasn't a conscious effort at all. It's just the way it happened. I think it was such a tight game that boys were just focused on the job in hand. So yeah, I'd say we'll see a few more celebrations throughout the year. I think the boys have got a few planned. So they're choreographing some new celebrations that we will let loose at some stage. Yeah, well, look, the boys are all about the hard work, and the flashy stuff comes after that. So whatever comes out in the day is just what it is. But I'd say we'll see a few more coming down the track. It's all part of the game.
Conor, mindset-wise, now that you know that your very best is stacks up with the best in the competition, the fact you're going into that with the knowledge of that into the 2025 season compared with last year where you were, I suppose, hopeful at this stage of the year, how's that changed you? How's that changed the group?
There's certainly big expectations, but I think Sis mentioned it there Friday night or pre-game that we just got to lean into it. So not much has changed in that front. We're looking forward to playing on the big stage, and we want to be there. That's where we've wanted to be the last few years. So now that we're here, we just got to lean into it and grab the opportunity with both hands and just stick to the process, really. That's been Mitch's message throughout as well.
Conor, it's Sloaney here, mate. Hey, you're speaking about the midfield group before, and in particular Will Day, but for me, a midfield group's only as good as your ruckman. And Lloyd Meek, mate, he's a big boy, looking very fierce, very competitive. His game, he had 14 disposals, 2 goals, 30 hit-outs, 6 clearances, but I thought his physicality set the tone for that group. How important has his summer been?
Yeah, it's been huge. He's a very important player for us, probably one of our most important. He just gives us first use most of the time in there in the midfield. So he's a big man, but he's able to get around the ground. His aerobic work rate is probably his biggest strength as well. So gives us first use in there. He's able to follow up, and we're pretty happy to have him. We're himself and Grundy. We had a serious battle Friday night. There were like 2 sumo wrestlers in there at times, standing on the line. So it was a good battle, and I think Miki had a great game.
Conor, what are you, 6'4"? Like, how many centimetres are you?
Just under 6'6", 197, 6'6", I think.
Yeah. And that what stood out to me on Friday night, the size of yourself, the size of Will Day, and what you guys did around the midfield. And you're opposed to Isaac Heaney, and I thought you wrapped him up. You were just so big against him in a lot of situations. So was that your job on Friday night to get around him as much as possible?
Yeah, we didn't go in with that plan. We knew that they've got a few special players, so it's hard to look after them all. But I suppose, Heaney was getting off the leash a little bit in that first quarter, going into second quarter, so it was just more of reference him as stoppage. It wasn't really a hard tag around the ground. Just be able to reference him as stoppage and play off him then. So he's a special player. He's got pretty much all the attributes. So it's hard to look after him, but thankfully was able to look after him a little bit. But he's a phenomenal player and hard to get after.
Conor, have you got an update on the James Worpel injury that he sustained and was forced to remove himself from the ground with? The club obviously is hoping it's at the lower end of the scale, but how's he been morale-wise?
Yeah, he's been good. He was in good spirits yesterday when we get back. I don't have an update for you, Damo. No, he's only going for a scan, I think, around now. So we'll know more when we get back into the club tomorrow. But obviously a very important player for us. So hopefully it is on the minor side. But we know we've got lads waiting ready to go. So it'll be a big game next Friday night, and looking forward to it.
I've got 4 Hawks in the votes from the other night. I've got Will Day best on ground for that first half. It was quiet after half-time, a little bit with James Jordan going to him, but he was brilliant. James Sicily, both ends, sensational. Lloyd Meek set it up in the first half, and I thought Amon with 700 metres gained was important as well.
Nice work, Llordo. And for a third year in a row, the Sunday Footy Show, Lexus of Blackburn are back, and Paddy Cripps drove away with the Lexus last year, as he did the Brownlow medal. So it matched up where luxury meets performance, and footy passion drives everything they do. Andrew Moore and the team, you see they've got some nice handballing skills out there. Lexus of Blackburn back with us again, and well done to Paddy Cripps last year. Will Day off to a flyer.
And Connor, I'll tell you what, you've got a bucket load of prizes we're sending your way. Here they are, thanks to the great Pete Smith.
Thanks, Chompers. You're off to Gumbaya World, where water slides, thrill rides and wildlife collide. Unlimited access with a family pass thanks to Gumbaya World. Mind the meerkats. A 3-month membership to Hit Fit. Combine body weight and boxing for a full body workout. On you, Nath. You'll be best dressed on the golf course with a quarter zip top and pants from Clutch & Co. And we'll kit you out in Catstar Brad Close's clothing brand. Be close, your swing, your style. A box of Chrome Tour golf balls and a cap, thanks to our great mates at Callaway. And another 2 hats for your playing group, thanks to Travis Matthew. For all your beer and wine cooling needs, Bar Fridges Australia is your one-stop shop. A pair of Aquila, premium quality footwear since 1958. Treat yourself to a batch of Daniel's Donuts. Book your special delivery online today. A meal for 2 courtesy of our friends at Platform 28, the best pub in Docklands. A pair of Rick's Eyewear. Eyewear that inspires confidence, especially the Soho Cherries. And elevate your wardrobe with the latest streetwear style from St. Goliath. Back to you, Chomps. Pete Smith speaking.
Thank you, Pete. Well, there you go. Connor, I don't know whether you kept track of all that. There's a lot of prizes there, mate, which are coming your way. So, did you get home over the off-season?
Yeah, I was back there last October. Had a few weeks just cruising around Ireland, caught up with all the lads, all family, and yeah, had the crew over Christmas as well. And Dad's actually still here. He's been here the last 3 months, trying to get rid of him. But,
all right, well, he might stick around another couple of weeks. You've got your 100th coming up, haven't you, which is a great milestone.
Yeah, next week, yeah. So looking forward to it. It'll be good fun.
All right, good on you. Thanks for joining us this morning, mate.
Cheers, TJ. Thanks, lads.
All right, thank you. All righty, well, as you say, 6'6".
6'6".
I mean, that's...
197.
Trying to play bigger, aren't they?
Yeah, it sucked as a small midfielder to try and play on these guys. You have to find a way around them.
Alrighty, we are going to take a break here on the Sunday Footy Show. I can't believe that Media Ocha has been elevated to so high on the show.
Segment 3.
Wow.
And just take it for what it is. It's not serious.
I've heard it's really good.
Hey?
I haven't seen it, but they're talking this one up.
Long time over summer to collate some things.
Did you have to cull a lot of stuff?
Yeah, there's heaps of stuff.
Did you go there?
Particularly you. You're not in there. You could have been in there.
Did you take that bit out?
So I've been cut from it?
You're not in it, no.
No, a bit like you on the Today Show. All right, we're going to take a break. You are watching the Sunday Footy Show. The little man with his little segment coming up next.
Oh, they had to legal it, TJ.
So there's something in there, obviously, which has been a bit contentious.
Well, they had to take something out, didn't they?
Most of it's contentious, but
All right,
it's just a bit of fun. Take it for what it is.
I think everything's finally been ticked off. So we'll take a break here on the Sunday Footy Show. When we come back, it is Nathan's, well, it's about the only segment he's got left in the media, Media Ocha. Welcome back. You are watching the Sunday Footy Show. That's right. We want to keep you in suspense for as long as possible. Episode 1, Media Ocha. You've had a whole summer to compile this.
It's been good, so here it is. Obviously, as I always say, take it for what it is. It's just a little bit of tongue-in-cheek.
Roll the video.
Hello, I'm Nathan Brown, and welcome to Media Ocha. ...2025 shapes as the biggest year in footy media in a long time. And so, SEN's Tom Morris took the pre-season as an opportunity to clear out the cobwebs.
What delivery are we up to? Are we on? Oh, we're on. We're back on the new ball. You would have thought we'd know what we're doing after a full summer.
But sadly, it seems that some others could have used a few more Ks in the legs.
Xander Maguire is with the Kangaroos this afternoon in Hoppers Crossing. Good to see you, Xander. It's a new look team this year.
Well, we're out here at the Hoppers Crossing Community Camp.
And the same rule applies for those in the control room.
Richmond have just got to go and hit the draft. They have got 8 picks inside 24. They're not going to be picking 8 players. They're going to try and manoeuvre their way as high up the order as possible for both this year and to position themselves for future drafts, because we've got a 19th team on the horizon, so they have to get this list built in a hurry.
And while I'm sure Theo enjoyed the extra airtime, I'm not convinced he appreciated this captivating television.
Bailey Smith, let's bring you up to date on his pursuit and trying to get to the Cats.
Jack Riewoldt made his on-the-couch debut this week, and for a weatherman, he makes a really good host.
Well, to get all the meteorologist experts together, we've decided that we'd head to John Ralph in the newsroom, and he's going to give us the update, Ralphie. Now, what's your I can't even get that out. How do you know the weather, Ralphie?
Jack could learn a thing or two from his Fox Footy colleague Nick Del Santo, who sticks to the basics, this time with a unique fact about the playing surface.
A slight breeze going to the near side, which is the bench side. The surface, absolutely spectacular. It's like we're walking on grass down here, so they've set a standard for the remainder of the year.
Mitch Cleary has made a name for himself as a lightning-quick newsbreaker, and his attention to detail, second to none. Jesse Hogan ruled out of Sunday's clash against Collingwood with a broken thumb. He broke his thumb jamming it in a door. Jesse Hogan broke his thumb on the toilet door of the bus en route home from Canberra last Friday night. OK, Mitch, might be time to put the phone down. At least he got the facts right, unlike NBL legend Leonard Copeland, who thinks cricket is played at all hours of the night.
Has cricket managed to pull you in at all?
It has, but the only problem is it lasts so long. You're up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know how they can concentrate at that level that early in the morning, but the crowds are great.
And finally, the Agenda Setters is footy media's new darling, with millions tuning in this week to see the debut of their new show. Let's see what they found. But we know at least one person who was happy.
They better not be on 74. That's where I watch the truck drivers going across the country, and I love that. And they dig for gold, the gold diggers. And
the Opal Mine.
Opal Mine!
I'm Nathan Brown, and that's Media Ocha.
Well, you have set the tone. You have set the tone, haven't you?
I liked it.
Yes. It was not bad, not bad. Theodoropoulos got a lot of airtime, didn't he?
Yeah, well, dead airtime as it turned out, yeah.
Poor old Xander. I didn't want to put Xander in there, but when you jump ship, you got to make sure your first cross is perfect, Xander. But thanks for sending that one through to me.
No wonder Eddie doesn't like you, right? It's on the record, he does not like you. All right, we'll take a break. You watch yourself, Rory. You're going to end up in it one day, mate.
Absolutely, I expect that. It's a given.
We'll take a break. You are watching the Sunday Footy Show. Back with more in just a moment.
Here he is.
Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. Time for everybody's favourite segment, Brownie's Quiz, brought to you by Sportsbet. And a new panel member, Rory Sloan. Can't wait to see how you do. Couldn't be any bad as TJ down there. Normally doesn't answer much, but...
Couldn't be any bad.
$500 on the line. Thanks to Sportsbet. We've got some home viewers, Damo.
John Dyer, I'm playing for today, Brownie, from Mermaid Waters. Thinking of you, John, and everyone else in Queensland.
And test your buzzer, Damo.
I'm not funny.
That's true. I got Christine Lilburn from Edgewater, WA. Christine, I'm sorry, I've been away most of the summer. I needed to escape the footy world.
All right, just test your buzzer, mate.
Sorry,
What's up,
Crows
fans? Brownie, I'm playing for Kerry Sheedy from Nollamara in Western Australia. We lost one, but we gained thousands.
That's on the back of Kane leaving.
Yes.
And also, I'm playing for John Seary from Dingley. Do I want to do this?
Well, you probably won't hit it too many times in the program, so have a go.
But I love this old guy.
Was Danielle Collins at the tennis?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Okay, and hello to you, Tony Barbar, as well, watching out there. Okay, it is what's happened over the summer, a sporting recap. And question number one. Well, this happened the other night. Who kicked the first goal of the AFL season?
But I love
I'll say Will Day.
We lost one, but we gained thousands.
Chad Warner did, off to a flyer, Llordo. Just check those scores, Tony, in the negatives already. Question number two. Who performed the halftime show at this year's Super Bowl?
We lost one, but we gained thousands.
He did, Llordo, off to a flyer. Okay, this is a famous face.
Are you taking this seriously?
Oh, yeah.
Who knocked out Alex de Minaur in the quarterfinals of the Australian Open?
I'm not funny. I can't remember.
But I love this old guy.
Novak Djokovic.
No, it was anyone else.
DJ?
Yannick Sinner. So now I'm going to
hang
famous
on.
faces.
We'll have a chance to.
I said anyone else, and nobody.
Was that not right?
Yannick Sinner.
Yannick Sinner.
No. Okay, question number 4. 2 Aussies scored centuries in this year's Women's Ashes Test clash. Name.
But I love this old
Sutherland.
We lost one, but we gained thousands.
Yep, Beth Mooney was the other one.
Annabelle
So
Sutherland.
we might go to the famous faces here, Tony.
Yep.
There's a lot of stuff that happened over the summer.
Well, we might go Dean Cox.
You tell me you're ready. +2.
TJ?
Good start, Tony. Well done. Which horse won this year's Melbourne Cup?
But I love
Nice
this
choice.
old guy.
Absolutely, Tony. Name any player that was traded to West Coast over the off-season.
But I love this old guy.
What's up, Crows fans?
Incorrect.
Jack Graham.
1 to Rory. Jack Graham is correct. Liam Baker or Matt Owies I would have accepted. So, famous faces, Rory.
Of the Carlton.
My mate Goody.
Goody. +1. Very nice. This is famous faces also. Who scored the most runs in the Border Gavaskar Trophy
We
this
lost
summer?
one, but we gained thousands.
Travis Head.
Travis Head did. Llordo, yes.
Pretty easy one.
I'll go Scotty Boland.
Oh, no.
Scotty Boland.
Oh, Llordo.
Statue at the G. Llordo. All right. Score check. -1 Damo. Rory on 2. TJ on 2. Llordo on 0. In the historic NBA trade, which centre was Luka Doncic traded for?
I'm not funny.
Anthony Davis.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. +1 to Laurie, -1 to Damien. Who avoided suspension at question number 9 for pushing number 1 Sam?
We lost one, but we gained thousands.
Ruben Jinby is correct. Famous faces, Llordo. Last chance on the board. Pull yourself back.
Bailey Smith.
Yeah.
Bailey Smith.
Handsome face, isn't it?
Steal. You can steal a point off somebody.
Rory.
Oh, I would have got it, Tony. Okay, this is where the money was. Sinner had -1. Jamara, mute down here. Jasper had risk.
Who's that, Browny?
Jasper Boomer and +3. So the risk for next week, if you get the risk, you can risk a certain amount of points on the very next question. You get the question, so if you want 2 points and you want to risk
Yeah, we've
2
got
points,
it. We've got it. You don't need to.
Well, you're
go
just
into
looking
it.
at me stupidly, like. So
Yeah,
I
no,
thought
but
I needed to
that's
explain
not
it
just
to
when
you.
you do the quiz, mate. That's just generally.
Are you going to be hosting Wimbledon next year? Okay. Who am I? I was originally a father-son pick for 5 points.
I'm not funny. I've got to jump in. Gary Ablett.
Incorrect, Damien. I'm a premiership player for a club that didn't draft me for 4 points. For 3 points, I'm a 6-time club leading goal kicker. For 2 points,
What's up, Crows fans? Don't know why I think this, but Josh Kennedy?
incorrect. I retired after winning the grand final for 2 points.
But I love this old guy.
Joe Danaher.
Joe Danaher is right, Tony. Did you get up? You
Yeah,
did.
baby.
All right, Tony, who gets $500 going?
It's going Dingley way, the Toorak of the southeast. John Seary. Well done, John.
$500 coming your way, John. WWOS.9.com/AFL quiz. That's changed from Browny, but AFL quiz. So next week, $500 on the line again. Well done. Off to a flyer.
All right, thank you. We are going to take a break here on the Sunday Footy Show. Llordo's Deep Dive is up next with a special guest.
One of my heroes, Darren Jarman.
Fantastic.
Who's going to join us.
All right, that'll be in a matter of moments. We'll see you then.
For the deep dive this year, I've been fortunate enough to be in the game for 30 years, 15 years as a player and 15 years covering the game. So I'm going to look at the best 30 footballers I've seen, either playing with, against or covering the game. And at number 30, our guest has been good enough to come in. It's a superstar from Hawthorn, the Adelaide Crows, and for South Australia, and it's Darren Jarman. So Darren, my best mate growing up, or one of them was a Hawthorn supporter, and I'd go and watch Hawthorn more than any other club. And I fell in love with you and the football that you played and the way you delivered the ball to Jason Dunstall. So, Darren, firstly, thanks for joining us on the Sunday Footy Show, and how are you going?
Thank you, Matthew. Yeah, it's great for the invite, and so it's a bit of a surprise when I heard the call during the week. So, yeah, should we have some bit of fun, eh?
Yeah, we want to start back in 1987, Darren, where you're playing for North Adelaide in a grand final, and you showed the football world your exquisite skills. You're kicking 3 amazing goals for North Adelaide. Talk us through where your journey started.
Yeah, it did. As a young fella, Matty, I was a born and bred Gazer Football Club junior, all the way through there, then eventually got to North Adelaide, coached by Michael Noonan, which was one of the better coaches I've had for young men, skill-wise. He told us, how to kick the ball and stuff like that, and he was a great mentor. The 87, that was our 3rd chance at beating the Tigers. They won 2 in a row, so they were going for 3 in a row, and we knocked them off. So that was a great highlight to win a grand final with the Roosters. And then the Crows joined up in 90, so I ended up going to the Mighty Hawks for the next 5 years, and then eventually back home for another 6 years. So worked out pretty well for me.
You mentioned the Hawks there, Darren, that the buzz was huge from a Victorian perspective as to let's get this man over and play in the then VFL. Now, you got there and arrived in 1991 and happened to play in a grand final win, had a massive role in a premiership in your first year as a Hawk. You played with some great Hawthorn players, but you hit the ground running in the VFL AFL sense.
Yeah, well, it was, Damo, we won the night flag in 91 and the day, and then 92 we won the night again. So back in the early 90s, the night premierships were pretty big back then, because we had big crowds at Waverley. And so my first three premierships in, over a year and a half, so it was pretty good. I still remember that my first game for Hawthorn, we played Adelaide actually, and we were out in the town after winning the night flag, and someone said about 2 o'clock in the morning, who we got next week, round 1, and I said, we've got Adelaide. And so everyone started keep drinking, so we eventually got home, and so we got absolutely belted by them in the round 1. They beat us by about 15 goals, and I still say to this day, not many teams would have beat him that day, round 1.
Yeah. Jars, you're regarded as probably one of the best kicks, if not the best kick the AFL, VFL has ever seen. And we've got some vision of you kicking to Jason Dunstall, who was a great player himself, but you put it down his throat time and time again. Where did you learn the skills? Was it with your brother in the backyard? Because whether it was right or left, you could do it evenly.
I was fortunate enough, Nathan, that my brother was a year older, so he was always competing against an older person. And we'd practice left and right kicking with a plastic football back in the old days. In the 80s, the old plastic footy you could get from the shopping centre. And we'd wear that thing out, and every night we'd go left, right, have competitions, and most times I'd knock Andrew off, and then he'd knock me out, and then I'd go crying back to mum. And so it was very competitive. So I was very fortunate to play. I always played a year up. So I was playing against bigger juniors and stuff. So Andrew was very handy to, keep giving the ball back. That was where I would say we trained that hard with our kicking. It was unbelievable. We'd be out there every night until we were about 16. And Andrew's got involved with a few women and stuff like that. So I lost him and had to use the brick wall to get the ball back.
Moving right along, your brilliance, Darren, wasn't restricted to clubland, but in the VFL, AFL or SANFL. We saw it in 92, 93 at state level. And, those were great days, weren't they? And you must have really relished the opportunity to pull on that South Australian jumper. Teddy Whitten, Neil Knuckles Curley, just great days.
They were huge, Tony. They were massive days. Back then in the early 90s, the state of origin was, we played on a Tuesday night and then played for your club on the Saturday. So, and we'd have some magnificent clashes against the Vics and WA. They were massive days. It's a shame we don't see it anymore. Obviously, playing with Sticks Kernahan and the guys like Johnny Platten, it was huge, big days.
We may see it soon enough, Jars. Hey, I'm just going to cast your mind back to about 16 years, mate, where we first met. I was only an 18-year-old pup. Yep, went down to Mount Gambier. We did a supporters group down there. We then proceeded to a pub where Roo hit 5 winners on the nose, I reckon, and walked out with a suitcase full of cash. You and I sat in the front seat of Toyota Tarago and pub crawled our way back to Adelaide. As a Victorian, I probably didn't understand the enormity of the Jarman name and what it means to South Australia. But in those pubs, it was 40th birthdays, but I've never seen such a huge flock of people surround you, buy you beers, and a man that was, at that point, just in footy shorts and thongs from the whole trip home. You're an SA great. Where's your fonder memories, Hawthorn or SA?
Oh, that's a tough one, Rory. But I still remember that night. We had to ring up armoured guard to get us out of that place. Roo was on fire. And, I remember... You did the right thing by driving.
I was forced to.
You did your apprenticeship earlier, Rory. So you turned into a superstar, and that was the grounding that you needed. You had to drive us home sober. So that was a great time to meet you. The first time, you did right. The first time I met you, it was a privilege to get to know, and how you played your football was always 100%. It was just a wonderful time at the time. That's what was the question?
Just we'll move on to the 97. And we're glad you went to the Adelaide Crows, because you've given some of the great memories in finals. It's a 97 final series where the first premiership, the Adelaide Crows, and you turned it on. Like, this is the prelim against the Western Bulldogs. What a game that was! Beat the Dogs by 3 points, and in the grand final, you kick 8 goals in the last quarter, and you kicked 5 of them in the last quarter. Talk us through that series for you.
Yeah, that was huge. And at Roy's question with the Hawks, I loved my time there. It was just a family decision to come back. But with the Crows, that you just mentioned the prelim, that was an amazing game. I think we were about 30 odd points down at half time, and we went into the half time, and Lloyd wasn't happy, but he didn't say too much. He was pretty relaxed, but he had one word on the board, and that was attack. Keep attacking. So we did that. That was an amazing game, that one. I remember getting cleaned up in the second quarter, and I was knocked out a bit. Got cleaned up by a player from the Dogs. So I had 2 trainers holding me up in the second quarter, and I said, take me off. And they said, and then the runner come out and said, Blighty said, go to full forward. I said, what? I said, which way's that? And so they pointed me in the right direction. And so I reckon, I put us in front with a couple of minutes to go, and I still couldn't remember doing that. It was, today I reckon I would have been rubbed out for the grand final. So pretty lucky we got through that.
Well, you provided some all-time great AFL moments there, Darren, both in that prelim final and the grand final of that year, and then you backed it up again. It sometimes gets lost what you personally did again the next year in the grand final again against North Melbourne this time.
Obviously I think they'd won about 13 or 14 in a row, and Duck was on fire, and such a great footy club, well coached, and we knew it was going to be tough, and once again it was just Malcolm's calmness to keep attacking, and he just said keep kicking goals, and we were lucky that North had a bad day goal kicking wise. I think they kicked 20 odd points, so as we say, bad kicking's bad football.
Yeah.
So we got away with that one, and it was pretty good for me, because for 10 years I'd played North Melbourne, and I always get Johnny Blakey tagging me, and one game we played here at Footy Park, he had 3 possessions and I had 2, and he was second best on ground with 3 possessions. So I owed him 1, and I got him in 98. So that was a great moment.
That's great. Now, before I hand you back to Llordo, I lived in Box Hill for a while. Did you used to work for the council in Box Hill?
Yes.
I was standing outside my house one day, and I saw this guy on a ride-on lawnmower on the road, and I'm like, is that Darren Jarman?
Was me. Yep. Well, back in them days, TJ, you had to work. So we'd work all day and then go play, train and then play. Obviously, that was the early 90s. We had to keep working, and that was the way it was. It didn't go pro until about, I reckon, 97-ish, when the power come in. he started to get a bit full time. But yeah, back then that would have been me, and I would have been hiding somewhere because that lawnmower had a beautiful air conditioner in it. So I'd put my little, I'd put my little bets on at the races, sit there and listen to the races.
Yeah, we could talk to you for
hours.
So
I apologise to the council.
Yeah, we could talk to you for hours. It's been so good. As I said, I could watch your highlights for hours.
Yeah.
So many people ask me what's wrong with goal kicking, what's wrong with the skills of our players still in this game, and as I said, I think it's because they didn't do enough of what you did growing up, which kids have too many options these days and probably don't have the skills that you have or had through your lifetime. So thanks so much for joining us on the Sunday Footy Show this morning.
Good on you, Jars.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
All right, thanks very much, Darren Jarman. That is, I love that.
Good, Llordo.
I love that.
Great, Llordo.
Any hint at all for number 29?
Well, another mercurial player.
Right, okay.
Another who had equalled the skills of Darren Jarman.
And how many are at 31?
There's a lot, and there's a lot, and some big names who I might be thinking they're going to be in the top 10 who don't make the 30. So I'll tell you on the ad break who some of those blokes are.
Oh, okay then. All right, and we're not talking jumper numbers, by the way. We're talking Llordo's top 30 that he's seen in his 30 years of football as a player and a commentator. All right, see, why can't you come up with segments like that? That's gold, sheer gold. We're going to take a break on the Sunday Footy Show. More in just a moment. Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. Not too far away, Nathan's got a second instalment of Mediocre. That's how big it's become. This will be a live instalment, so we don't know what that's about. But it's great to have back for yet another season with us Jess Webster, who joins us now live from Carlton. G'day, Jess. Good to have you on board again.
G'day TJ, happy 2025 to you all. Here with Brad Lloyd, the footy boss at Carlton Footy Club. Certainly a day for a great atmosphere here at Icon Park. Are you excited at this time of year?
Yeah, really excited. It's becoming real now with hundreds of people here at training, and great day for it. So exciting.
And Vossi mentioned to the masses a little earlier, Charlie Curnow won't play in round one. Can you give us an update on his progress?
Yeah, he's been progressing really well. We just felt he needed that little bit more training, a little bit more of a block in him. So he's very, very close, but won't play this week.
And I wanted to ask about young Jagger Smith as well, unfortunate with his ACL injury. How's he handling the setback so far? And is there a case to say that this might benefit him in some way?
Oh, look, it's very cruel blow, cruel game sometimes footy. So, pretty devastating. He's out here. He's been doing his weights. He's standing on the boundary at the moment. He'll have his operation very, very shortly, and we look forward to seeing him next year. So he looked awesome, what we saw so far. So that's exciting, but shattering as well.
They're pretty close to us, behind us as well. Hope I don't get hit with any footies. But finalists last couple of seasons. What are the benchmarks for the Blues in 2025, and what does the club need to do to take the next step?
Oh, we certainly want to keep improving. We just haven't had consistency with, I think a couple of years ago we had a poor start and came home with maybe winning 11 or 13 games, which was unbelievable. And then last year was probably the opposite. We started really well and then fell away with form and durability at the end. So just want consistency so we can give ourselves the best chance come finals.
And great news today as well. Icon is sticking around for a few more years. How important is their support to the club?
Oh, huge. Georgie Tahan at Icon. He's a great man, one of the best men I've met in footy. So, thrilled to have him involved. He's sort of more than a sponsor, George. He's really, he's been always around the place and just a fantastic, him and his family. So, really good. I think they're through to 2027 and beyond. So, exciting.
Oh, great stuff. I might hand over to your brother.
Hey, Brad, it's Matt here. We just had Darren Jarman talking about Andrew Jarman, who used to beat him up if Andrew, the older brother, beat him in a goal-kicking comp. Well, we had a billiard table and a table tennis table, and you would never let me walk away if I won. And you'd beat me up and make me play one last game because you wanted to be the big brother, didn't you? So, out yourself.
I
think you need to get over that, Matthew.
I do. I'm not proud of. I did. There was a little bit of a crack on the back of their head when you were putting your cue back in the rack at one stage. I'm not proud of a few of those moments.
Oh, and speaking of brothers, you've got Lucas and Ben Campriali there. How have they settled in? Is there much fighting between those two?
Oh, they've been sensational. Credit to our Carlton Academy. The Greg Williams really leads. They've really developed well since they've been in our program the last couple of years with the father-son. But, really exciting for the boys. Unfortunately, Ben had a bit of a setback with a bit of an infection the other week, so he's had a bit of a slow start. But Lucas is going really well. Did well last week against GWS on the wing and showed a fair bit. He's a nice size. He chases, he tackles, he really gets it. You can see how he's just been brought up in a football atmosphere. So, yeah, we're really excited about both the boys.
All right, terrific stuff, Brad. It's great to have a Lloyd on the program with so much insight into the game. All the best, and as you say, thank you to Icon again for the ongoing partnership. And Jess, great to see you again, and we'll see you right through the season.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks. All righty, there you go. Brad out at older.
He's so Simon, the oldest, who is head of footy at Geelong. Then Kylie, who has worked here for 25 years. Brad. And then myself.
You're the baby.
Very much a football family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of football, Mr. Football himself over there from a journalistic point of view with Damo's agenda.
Yeah, TJ, we'll start with the Hawks. They're aggressive in everything they do, particularly recruiting. Tom Barras, Josh Battle coming across in the most recent off-season, and they're now got their sights set on others, including the West Coast Eagles captain, Oscar Allen. Dylan Moore speaking about that the other day.
I literally just saw that as I was coming off the plane, so I think any talent trying to come through the door is great, and yeah, that's not something that I'm that interested in. I don't work in recruiting either, so hopefully they're doing something in the background. But yeah, it's I think we've got our own game to focus on.
Lloyd, they're not dying wondering, are they, in how they want to set up this next flag?
No, Oscar Allen, he's as good as anyone in the game if he can get his body right. So I think that's the one missing part, is that key forward for them. Mitch Lewis, unfortunately, has been injured. Charles, probably a second or third. So if they could pull something like that off there, they set themselves up for a dynasty over the next 5 years.
Yep. John Newcombe, just while on the Hawks, managed to cop a very big fine. It was $10,000 down to about $6,200 on the back of a fourth tripping infringement in recent times. This one on the weekend, or actually on Friday night, just gone against Rowbottom, but it's starting to mount up there. The early plea officially is $6,250. Rory, you wanted to chat about this. You saw Craig McRae on AFL.com.au last week speaking about the injuries that some of his senior players had last year. Initially, he refers to here Scott Pendlebury and then Darcy Moore.
He played with a lot of injury last year, Pendles. This is the things that gets missed. We see outcomes, we don't see process, we don't see struggle. Yeah, he missed 2 pre-seasons in a row. I think that in this game now, it's very difficult to be at the top of your game without doing some level of that. He had a disappointing year. I don't think he'd be the first to say that, and it's really pleasing to say, or to see him do such a strong pre-season now. He looks like a guy that's ready to have a great year.
First of all, Craig's doing what every good coach does and defending his players, TJ, but for me as a player, and there's so many games you play where you're injured, under the weather, you haven't slept the night before. Having excuses around performance never sat well with me. It was always once I got to game day and once I started playing, the job is still the same. You still have to perform, and the excuses, and one of the worst questions you get asked when you're in those situations is you rock up to the game, Lloyd, you know this, Browny, you know this, but the first question any HBTL coach asks you, they go, "Oh, how you feeling today, Sloaney?" And it's like, well, it doesn't matter how I feel. I've still got to perform and we've still got to win. So, yeah, that was just one thing.
Well, hang on, what did you want him to say?
Nothing. Well, we hadn't heard about it all year.
Don't answer the question.
Well, no, Pendles I think, had a great season last year, and half-fit Pendles is better than most players. So, for me, you just leave it. We hadn't heard it all year until now, so there'd been no excuses up until this point. So.
But I think it was different if he's saying it in season, but he's saying it at the start of a news about Darcy Moore.
Yes.
So, and that he hasn't had a pre-season, so...
and different in game too. If you get injured in game, obviously that's differently as well. But for me, keep going. Those boys will have big years.
The new era begins at Richmond on Thursday night against Carlton. It's going to be a very different looking Tigers team, and I personally feel they've bitten off way too much with what they've done by way of the outs being replaced by the ins. It's a clear project by the club, Browny, to go the youth path. We've known that. We've known that for some time now. We saw what they brought in the draft last year, and of those names on the screen there, Trainer and Layla may be the ones who are most likely at this stage to get selection. There'll be others in the mix, but.
Two wins last year, though, did they? Rioli, Bolton, Baker.
Well,
Graham,
they did. They
all wanted to go.
No, but they had Bolton in contract and they had Rioli in contract. I know the others were out of contract, but they chose to negotiate with those two clubs that they went to.
At the end of the day, you don't want a player there that doesn't want to be there, particularly some players who, I mean, they're not Dustin Martin, they're not Trent Cotchin, they're players that are very good when the team's up and going. I'm not sure they'd play great football when the team is going to be low where they are at the moment. So I think the club just says, no, we're going to complete rehaul and we're going to take 3 or 4 years, and if they can get those picks on the left, right, and that's to be known, but I think they're going to have a crack at it over the next 3 to 4.
And the other thing is it's a poor draft this year. So So last year was the draft. So they thought to themselves, if we're going to lose these players, let's load up with the quality. It's just not there this year.
Well, we've been through it. I've been through it as a footy club personally, and I think as long as you can keep a core midfield group, that's going to be pivotal to them having some consistency around the year.
Now, Damo, you talk about a new era, which brings me to your new segment.
It's not my new segment, TJ. It's our new segment.
So that's
our new segment.
You see, you've got your little earring in there as well.
It's your segment. Look at that.
So this is Have You Heard? So this is almost like a rumour file.
So we're all on the hook to try and bring something each this year.
Yeah. So what do you got?
You start rumours, Damo.
No, not a rumour, Brownie. This is fact. Melbourne, obviously Moomba time, TJ. You know it's an iconic part of the time. Long weekend, the King of Moomba is a big title in this town. It's it's iconic. Your mate Lou Richards was it a few times. Twice. There you go. There's so many big names.
Peter Brock.
We did hear, and this is the bit where Have You Heard? And this is true, that Bill Brownless, a former member of this particular panel, got people around him, but his people, he may have known about this, he may not have known about it, but they pitched his name to be King of Moomba this year.
Well, you don't pitch yourself.
Well, that's how it happened.
And is it
that was the
true
process.
that when it was a love job, he pulled out?
Well, Sushi Mango got the nod, Llordo, and Billy doesn't do too much.
Bill knocked it back
Well, he was
because there was no win.
and when the fee was no, you just do it as a love thing, he said, "Oh, well, let's just leave it."
Okay, this segment could be shorter than receipts.
We're going to get into trouble with this.
We're going to take a break. Damo, good stuff, mate. Always on the ball as per usual. We will take a break. Back with more in just a moment. Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. I tell you what, FootyFurnace, not to be missed. 9:40 tonight on 9 with those three guys, Cuz, Jimmy, and Tom Morris. Yeah. So that's coming up 9:40 tonight.
Looking forward to that. I'm Nathan Brown, and this is the second edition of Media Ocha.
I'm telling you, they're not going to pick him. Mate, it's going to be one of those another outlandish calls from you. I reckon wait to see for round one.
Yeah, well, I'm getting pretty sick of match sim. I'm waiting for the real stuff. I want to get lunch. I'm going to go to the local cafe. You want to come?
Nah, I reckon I'll stick around and see what else happens out here.
Right.
A massive update here from the tradies community at training this morning. A star midfielder from a premiership contender calling it quits, effective immediately.
What did I miss?
You're good, mate.
I'm going to go.
Nathan Brown, and that's mediocre.
What was that?
I'm not sure.
Did that go to where?
The acting part. He's a good actor, Sam, isn't he? I'm not sure what it was.
Alrighty, on that note, we're going to take another break. Not too far away, a couple of big names to get us going on Louis' handball. But before that, we want to have a little chat to him. We'll do that right after this.
When playing away from home, the Sunday Footy Show stays at the Langham, Melbourne. The Langham, Melbourne, a proud supporter of the Sunday Footy Show.
Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. Louis' handball in a matter of moments, but we thought because we've got two elite guests, I'm not talking about the golf clubs, but two elite guests, we might have a little bit of a chat first. Llordo?
Yeah, Brett Deledio, a champion of the Richmond Football Club and also spent some quality time at the GWS Giants, is with us, and also Mick Balo, who was just a winning machine, weren't you, Mick, at the Fremantle Dockers?
Tried to find a bit of it, and the handball was probably my strength, so I'm pretty confident today against Leeds.
And also Gold Coast.
Gold Coast, yeah, made my way there for a little bit, but let's move past that pretty quickly.
Can I ask you, though, just on that, the Suns hoping to play in their first final series. What did you see as the challenges for that club when you were up there? Yeah,
I think being off Broadway for younger players coming through probably just took away a little bit of their edginess, is probably what I saw, but from all reports, that's picked up pretty strongly in the last couple of years, and I think looking at their list, this year looks a pretty strong year for him.
Lloydie, you're a gun footballer and a gun cricketer. You love your bowling. This man, Brett Deledio, was a gun footballer, but good enough to play for Australia as a youngster. I reckon he could have been a tearaway quick, could have played for Australia, but he chose football. Is that correct, Brett?
Well, in the change rooms, I was reasonably handy, Nate. But no, I did have times when I, got tagged or had a bit of a down game that I thought about going back to cricket. And it seemed a bit easier at the time, but played the sums in the end. It's a lot more opportunities to play footy than there was to play at the highest level of cricket. But did love it, and I did enjoy bowling to you back in the day.
As we watch some of your highlights there, Brett, since footy, you've moved into the media space and also really honing in on the player management space. And just as you, I suppose, talk to us about that, the fact that your old club, Richmond, there has gone down the really strong youth path this year.
Yeah, so I'm enjoying the management side of things. It was probably landed on my feet outside of the development coaching when I first come out of the game and came into the management stuff, which has allowed me just to work with young players and help give them my guidance that I've learned over the years, the ups and the downs of footy. But yeah, watching the old side, it's going to be a challenging watch this year. I think we've got some work to do, no doubt, but a young side coming through, no different to when I first started. We had, 5 or 6 kids come in at the same time, and you try and just get little wins along the way, which is what we'll be looking for as supporters. Now, Mick, unbelievably consistent on the field, but off field, I also heard you were very consistent too with a couple of off-field antics. But cast your mind.
Where are you going with this?
Yeah, you wait, TJ. Cast your mind back to 2015 Brownlow, where you almost destroyed one of, I think, our all-time greats nights. Can you cast us back to this night?
Yeah.
What happened?
Pretty happy with myself there in terms of picking up the one vote. I think that's the last Brownlow vote I ever get in 2015. Off he gets the result in a great night, and I was very, very much remembered for that in terms of a Brownlow appearance, being Nat 5 state, and from there the career just tailspan out.
Now, made mention of your media career, so you're with ABC Radio.
Yes.
Right, but you're at North Melbourne in a development role.
Correct.
Head of. But you're also in the podcast sphere now, eh?
Side hustle, Brett and I with... Well, Dill Buckley is he's the maestro of the podcasting industry, isn't he? And he sent Brett and I here today. He's at a music festival with, I think, teenagers and a couple of young 20-year-olds across the weekend. He couldn't make it, but here we are. We do a couple of episodes a week with Dill, Footy and Friends. Enjoy it. It's lighthearted, and look at the weekend's games and what's coming up as well.
And Bretty, you're playing in the Carlton draft later on this season. You're injured at the moment. How are you feeling?
Nervous, to be honest. I played a couple of games last year, and
this is the Carlton draft.
Yes.
So this is what you've got to look forward to.
I'm hoping that I get a better day than that, to be honest.
Money.
I'll be asking for the grip.
There was the money. Show the money.
Right, love his money.
Yeah. But look, I think I'm nervous. As you said, I hurt myself in basketball just the other day, so I've got a little bit of time to prepare, which is good. But I understand what's coming too. So I played a couple of games last year, bit to work on. Just
before we go to the break and then the handball after that, I was down at Arden Street on Thursday. It was a pretty special day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good. We had Johnny Dugdale in. He was involved with the 1975 premiership side. So doing a lot of work at the Kangas at the moment, trying to connect with our past and bring people of our past back through the doors, and Johnny Dugdale was one of them. So told some great stories. I know all of our group, we're just in awe of his story and what it used to be like back in the 70s and 80s. So great to have him in, and we'll get a lot more in through the year.
So Johnny Dugdale celebrating his 89th birthday this weekend. You can see more of that on 9 News in Melbourne tonight. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, it is these two guys, former champs, going head-to-head in the handball. Mick has already declared himself the winner. All right, time to get the handball underway for 2025. Brett Deledio and Michael Balo, our combatants. We had a chat to them a little earlier before the break, but what are they playing for?
Well, we get former superstars on this show because we have the best prize pack in the business. Our good friends from Temper, Jason Nicholas out there at Temper. This is the best bed you'll ever sleep. I'm not sure if you've got a Temper bed already, but you need another one if you do. This is the best bed. I have one of these at home.
Oh, really?
Fully adjustable, experience truly restful sleep, and the all-new Temper Ergo Pro Smart delivery and installation included. You won't get a better night's sleep. And if you're a golfer, you sleep well at night on the Temper, and then you go out and play with these beautiful Callaway full set of elite golf clubs from our top mates at Callaway, along with a custom fitting at Callaway HQ. Total prize around $15,000. So it's worth it. Thank you for Temper and Callaway being back on board.
All right, now a little bit of housekeeping. Llordo, you're calling the numbers again.
Get them right, Llordo.
Okay, it was a bit controversial in parts last year.
Yeah.
Damo, who's going to be putting the score up on the board?
Rory's taken that role this year.
Rory?
He wants it. He wants the responsibility of it.
Move the target.
Ready for
Righto, let's go. Who's going to go first? Mickey, you know the rules, boy. 5 off each hands.
5 each hand.
I got ground balls.
Probably could have pumped them up.
7.
Moves to 7.
7.
14.
7.
21.
7, that's generous.
7.
28.
Rory, you slow down a bit, Rory.
5.
And still got it.
TJ,
Still got it.
Rory told us he was consistent.
Lid should be kicking, I reckon. You're a kicker, not a handballer.
Hang on, right on
Eat
cue
my
for a
words.
big side. Lead 17. Very competitive, Brett. 27.
Wow.
Bad luck.
This will feature on the podcast.
34. 41. That is a good start, Britty boy.
Very good.
I'm going to eat my words, I think.
7.
Moves to 40.
7.
47.
Bit more power.
7.
54.
7.
61. And it's bullseye at 71.
All right, so what's the state of play?
He needs 31 to win.
31 to win. Ron Barassi.
That is nice. 48.
7.
55.
7.
62.
7.
69. Ready, last one.
You're right there, Rory.
Yeah, I'm all right.
2. And a 10 to finish it off.
There you go.
Big score. Well, I believe 81 won it last year, so that is a very good start.
Well, I'll tell you what, you are our clubhouse leader.
Thanks.
Well, it's our first one, of course, for the
No,
year.
we got that.
so,
So we got the joke. You don't need to go. You don't need to explain a joke when you do it.
you want to talk about jokes? Tell us about his career at Richmond.
Taught me how to dress.
Okay. That wraps it up for this edition of the Sunday Footy Show. Give your podcast another plug.
Footy and Friends jump on every Tuesday, Thursday.
Thursday.
All right, look forward to it. And guys, Rory's
great
absolutely
job.
mate, fantastic.
I got the boot.
I got a little carried away with the ground balls. I forgot to write the score, so we know Lid's won. But
We'll work on
figure
that.
the score
What was
later.
your highlight of the show today?
Who? Lids. Lids is handballing.
Yeah, okay, righto then.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, that wraps it up for this first edition of the Sunday Footy Show. We will be back at our normal time of 10 o'clock next Sunday. And as we always say,
Wherever you may be, may the sun shine on you today. And Brett Deledio.